or hit the ground running and play as many creatures as we can from the graveyard. I don't think I can keep a one-lander. Based on my experience, it's just not that likely to get there. This one I will keep. We'll bottom the Creeping Chill. So one thing about this deck is that mulligans are pretty forgiving, I think. And I'll go ahead and set no possible play, yield all. So obviously our opponent is on Tron. First things first, let's go ahead and play Hedron Crab. We'll get a Watery Grave. As soon as we mill ourselves with the Hedron Crab, our opponent will definitely know what deck that we're on. They'll know we're not regular mill, we're on Crabvine. Alright, it's Bluetron. Bluetron is a rather sophisticated version of Tron. I'll say. What's up, King Magic? Uh-oh. I got in the middle of your pyramid. I disrupted your pyramid. Thought you were gonna get one over on me. This time I was prepared. How is your day going? Let me get into this game here. We have the option of going Merfolk Secret Keeper to mill 4 or Stitcher Supplier to mill 3. Let's go ahead and play Bloodstain Mire here. We'll mill ourselves. Save target. I was ready this time. Okay, we hit one Narcomoeba, and what's this? Vengevine? We're gonna trigger that Vengevine, or at least try to. And here's how. Go ahead and fetch up an Overgrown Tomb. No! That's the literal worst I've heard. That sounds terrible. I'm so sorry that happened to you, buddy. Yikes, double yikes. So we'll go ahead and cast Stitcher Supplier here. Looks like they're interested in countering that, and I'm gonna go ahead and let that happen because Vengevine triggers on cast. It doesn't care if the card actually enters the battlefield or not. This does give them the opportunity to scry and look for additional Tron lands. And we want to always yield and always yes. And they went ahead and scooped to that. So we can be sure that the opponent is bringing in some graveyard hate. I don't think Fatal Push is going to be any good at all. Stain the Mind can only target non-land cards, so we can't really go after their Tron lands with that. Damping Sphere is pretty good. I kind of expect Pithing Needle to be pretty good. We can name Ugin with that. Well, hopefully it wasn't anything super important like, you know, a wallet or anything, you know, But that sucks, man. Thieves are the worst. I feel really bad about hearing that. Abrupt Decay might be worth it in this matchup, but I'm not super sure. It does hit things like Walking Ballista. Maybe we want some counter magic. I want to be careful not to over sideboard. I think I'll take out Life from the Loam. Some of these Merfolk Secret Keepers. They're usually the first card to get cut here. And I think we can shave on Narcomoeba. Maybe shave on a Silver Smoke Ghoul. Run something like this. So kind of testing John of the Lock in this build. I haven't really ran it before. So we'll see how it does. Speaking of Drown in the Lock, pretty cool that we're getting Counterspell in Modern and it's confirmed. I think that will take away a lot of the indecision on which Counterspell variant to run. Cards like Deprive just get probably eschewed for good unless there's enough upside to running it in the deck. Lands Matters decks may still run Deprive, but those don't seem to really be too much of a thing. Alright, I guess I'm supposed to keep this. Wow. Just wow. I would imagine that you feel pretty violated, I guess. So they have the Relic. We can't really do much about that from turn 1. We can still hardcast our stuff. Doesn't always have to come back from the graveyard, so let's lead off here with a swamp. We're running 8th edition John Avon Black Border Swamp today. What's going on, Phil Swifty? Welcome to the stream. Happy Sunday to you, Shark Salute. So we'll just play our most aggressive one drop first. We don't really have a big incentive to dump cards into the graveyard with Relic on the battlefield. Kind of unfortunate that they have that card, but I digress. So they kept a 1-land hand with no graveyard hate, or excuse me, with no second land. Damn it. Almost got in under that pyramid. Not sure why we use the snowy emote, but what's up, doll? How goes it? We'll go ahead and attack for 1 here. And should I think I'm gonna go ahead and play these cards just for the clock. Yeah, but thieves are the worst. When I first moved to this state, one of the first things that happened to me, like I'm usually one that locks my car, but the one time that I didn't, somebody came onto our property and stole like hundreds of dollars in CDs. Um, it was pretty devastating, honestly, because I had literally spent like a ton of money like acquiring catalogs of like people's work. Like I had literally every Jay-Z CD in that car, and that's like 9 albums right there. Okay, another relic. Land would be a pretty good draw here. Not a land. Here, let's attack for 4. And now I have the choice of dropping a Gravecrawler or holding up Drown in the Lock. I think it's probably better to just play the Gravecrawler while we can. So our opponent has blue mana up now. It's gonna move to the combat step. Attack for 6. We might see something like an end step Thirst for Knowledge here. There it is. And we could deny them the card advantage that is Thirst for Knowledge, but I think I'd rather let that hit the graveyard. Okay, good. That put 3 cards into the graveyard. So now Drown in the Lock is actually capable of doing something. Expedition map. So our opponent's trying to go get Tron here. I think I'll counter the Expedition map. It's a low CMC spell. This might get countered in response, but then at least they have to tap mana. Okay, they're gonna use Relic here. So that means they get the map. I guess I could have foreseen that. Still missing on lands here. Let's go ahead and Glimpse first. We'll Glimpse ourselves. We might hit a couple Creeping Chills. And we did. So if Creeping Chill is to resolve, that will put them down to 5. And they scoop. Getting there versus Bluetron feels pretty good. One of the reasons why I like this deck so much is its price versus how much you can win with it. Burn sort of falls into that camp as well, or that category as well. Decks with a low cost of entry but high win rate. So this hand is not actually that great. We've got a lot of our late game stuff and only one enabler. I think I'm gonna ship this. This is still not great. I think I'll ship this as well. Alright, this hand actually looks way better. I'll keep... I think we can bottom... I think we can bottom the swamp here. And I think we bottom... probably... second secret keeper here. Or excuse me, the secret keeper here. Bloodstained Mire. No discard spell. Guess I'll play Bloodstained Mire here myself. And I think the jig is up no matter which land that we play. So let's go ahead and get Overgrown Tomb here. And we'll lead off on Gravecrawler because it is the most aggressive card. Kind of expect my opponent might be a Renin 6 deck since they did play the Bloodstained Mire, so perhaps this will give them an... oh, not a Renin 6 deck. Okay, never mind. Steam Vents, I doubt, is a Renin 6 deck, but they still might be. This looks like prowess now. Yep. So, Gravecrawler lines up pretty poorly versus Lava Dart. And a few other cards. Gonna go ahead and play Stitcher Supplier pre-combat here. Didn't hit anything that good. We are certainly taking a lot of damage off of our lands, which is not great. Maybe we can gain some of that back with a Creeping Chill. Attack for 2. See if they have the dart. Alright, Stomp on Narcomoeba tells me that they might have Stormwing in hand. If they had Sprite Dragon, they probably would have cast that last turn instead of taking the turn off. So they're going to iterate here. kind of a new card from Strixhaven, making its way into this deck. Taking the light up the stage slot, if I'm not mistaken. Helps them find land drops among other cards. Lava Dart entered the exile zone. Never a bad thing. I think Lava Dart is one of the best cards in the deck. Okay. So far we are struggling hitting land drops this game and last game, so maybe we do need the 21st land, but let's see how the opponent chooses to block here. Attacking with the Stitcher Suppliers because we do want cards to go into our graveyard, after all. We got a Vengevine. Yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and play Narcomoeba here. If anything, we might be able to use it as a chump blocker, because they can deal huge amounts of damage out of nowhere, it seems. 3 lands and 4 cards, pretty scary. I think I'll block this. So if I attack with both, they block and pump. How bad would that be? Guess we'll find out. Taking the damage. Go ahead and play another Narcomoeba here. Not sure if this will live long enough to block the Sprite Dragon. Metamorphose. Into another Metamorphose. Into Iteration. Alright. Casually take 10 to the face here. Glimpse the Unthinkable, probably our best draw here. Let's go ahead and Glimpse now. We're gonna hope to hit some Creeping Chills off this. Try and get back in this game. Rough stuff. So couldn't do that. Now we have to scoop. So our game plan versus prowess. I think Fatal Push is definitely worth it for this matchup. Damping Sphere could be interesting as well. They do tend to go for multiple spells a turn. Golgari Charm is good against Sprite Dragon, but not much else. Abrupt Decay for removal. Drown the Lock for removal. This is a matchup where I don't think I want to cut the Merfolk Secret Keepers. I think these can hold down the fort for long enough. So maybe we don't want all these cards. I think we can cut some of our X1s. Let's cut the Silver Smoke Ghouls. Because I don't want to pay 3 mana and then get blown out by Lava Dart. And then I think maybe cutting Gravecrawlers, since they can't block, is a good idea. Maybe leaving in 1. And cutting the Singleton Life from the Loam is a good idea. Again, just to reiterate, kind of testing Drown the Lock here. I want to see if it's good versus this matchup. This hand would give us an opportunity to do that, but I think it's bad otherwise, so we have to mull. I think this hand is also bad. It does have an enabler, and it does have a way to block flyers, but I think it's just bad. Alright, I will keep this hand. We got the bottom 2 cards. I'll bottom Creeping Chill and Vengevine, because we want that in the graveyard. Yeah, I'm hoping that it's going to prove to be worth it. Not running Force of Negation or Force of Vigor in this particular build, and those are the cards that I'm running it over. Let's go ahead and play Overgrown Tomb tapped here. Then we'll ship the turn back their way. Ah, Vengevine. I thought we bottomed you. What gives? So I'm a little indecisive about if I want to hold up Drown the Lock this turn, but they are tapped out, so let's go ahead and glimpse and hope for the best. We do have to fetch and shock here. We want to be able to cast our spells. We did get lucky. We lucked out and hit Creeping Chill, but that's about all. Everything else that hit the graveyard is kind of bad for us. Actually, I do see a prized amalgam. Maybe not for long. I guess we will exile. Hmm. Probably exile Hedron Crab here. Maybe Glimpse is the take. Just in case they have surgical extraction. Another land. Okay. I'm going to play Bloodstained Mire here. Although it may have been wise to play the Watery Grave tapped. So here's another example of a time that the opponent just has Relic of Progenitus, which makes our Drown in the Lock kind of bad. If we keep going up against those scenarios, I guess we'll never see the card be too great. Let's see if we can coax the opponent into using Relic here. Oh, so apparently it's their graveyard. So Drown in the Lock doesn't work the way that we thought it did. Now we kind of tipped our hand a little bit by showing them land tapping. Unfortunately. So we have to take the damage. Which is a little bit rough. I'm gonna go ahead and grab Overgrown Tomb here. And I should have hit Glimpse there, I think. Well, looks like they have the Bolt for the Vengevine. So we are kind of out of gas, and that's never where you want to be versus this deck. Yeah, it is kind of crazy cool, isn't it? I'm a pretty big fan of the artwork as well. Can Prize Amalgam even keep us in this game? I don't think that we're favored at all. I think this is just delaying the loss. I might could go ahead and scoop here. Okay. Or follow me on Twitter to stay in the know. So I'll try and post there when those things are happening. Being on the play, always a plus. Keeping one landers is too risky. We have to ship this. If we don't hit a second land, we just don't really do anything. So this is better. And we bottom Creeping Chill. Pretty cut and dry. What land do I want to play? Could go get a basic swamp here. Is that wise? No, probably not. We need to think about casting Vengevines. So I'll go ahead and shock. Play Gravecrawler. It's a faster clock than Stitcher's Supplier. Cavern of Souls. What kind of tribal deck are we? Elves? Elves can be a tough matchup. They do present a lot of chump blockers. Let's go ahead and grab Watery Grave here. We'll shock that in. And I'm gonna glimpse myself here. Let's see, we got 2 Vengevines. We'll go ahead and swing with the Gravecrawler. Elvish Warmaster on turn 2. Look at the speed of this opponent. They're not wasting any time at all. Here I think we will get a swamp just to preserve our life total some. Go ahead and play Stitcher Supplier here. We might get another Vengevine off that. Narcomoeba. That's pretty decent. Play Narcomoeba, triggering the 2 Vengevines that are in the yard. And then move to combat. Pretty good turn 3, in my opinion. Cool, they're playing Westvale Abbey. Look how wide the opponent's gone. That's pretty crazy, all things considered. Go ahead and swing with everything. This does force some blocks from the opponent. They'll probably block Vengevines with tokens. They can't block Narcomoeba, so they take minimum 2 here. Gravecrawler can't block, so we always want to be swinging with that. Okay, supplier trigger, we hit Creeping Chill. Go ahead and always yes to that. And that puts us back up to 17. We don't have any zombies to return any grave crawlers here, so I think we just play a Verdant and pass. Ooh, we do get Silver Smoke Ghoul on the end step. I missed that interaction. Good stuff. If we get into a pinch here, we can sacrifice Silver Smoke Ghoul to draw a card. But we really don't have any like removal spells game 1 that we can draw. So I think the best card we could hope to draw would be Glimpse the Unthinkable for next turn. No attacks here. So Silver Smoke Ghoul can't get through this wall of blockers here. I think I will fetch. And I'm debating on just trying to draw a card. It's probably better just to attack with it. Okay, Creeping Chill does it. I don't think they can beat that. Whee! Elves is quite a bit busted. I like Golgari Charm here. Their creatures do get out of range pretty fast, but I think it's going to be worth it. Fatal Push is kind of okay. I think we're going to want Abrupt Decay for their Graveyard Hate spell, whatever that may be. This is probably a deck that could run Relic of Progenitus. Let's take a look and see what the common Elves deck looks like right now. I know it's fairly popular. Elves recently got kind of a shot in the arm from Theros Beyond. So they run Plague Engineer. So we're gonna need some answers to Plague Engineer. I think Abrupt Decay is good enough. Maybe we'll just hold off on bringing in the Drowned Lock. Gotta cut some cards. I think we'll cut Life from the Loam and the Silver Smoke Ghouls. I think we can operate just fine without them. Actually, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave in the Gravecrawlers here, but they're a little bit suspect in my opinion. Given that they can't block, this is a mulligan for sure. Another one land hand. I don't think I can keep this. This I'll keep because we can venture deeper. And I think I bottomed the Narcomoeba here. And the Swamp. Awesome. Hedron Crab was a pretty good pickup there. Go ahead and play Crab first. Realm Walker on 2. That's pretty scary. More fetching. I like that. Let's venture deeper here. Mill ourselves. And we're going to get 2 prized amalgams and a Narcomoeba. That's really strong. May not be stronger than what elves can do, but that's really strong in my opinion. We milled over a couple lands. Good thing we got those off the top of the library. And let's grab Overgrown Tomb. And that's the best that we can do this turn. If I was running a breeding pool, I could have got a breeding pool and casted Merfolk Seeker Keeper there. Ooh, Glimpse the Unthinkable. Okay, so this is good. Let's go ahead, play land. We hit a Narcomoeba. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch first, in case we hit any prized amalgams. We want Overgrown Tomb here. I'm gonna shock for the Overgrown Tomb here. So we have the Narcomoeba trigger on the stack, but I don't think I can play a Glimpse the Unthinkable with that on the stack. I think we just have to let that happen. We'll glimpse ourselves. Unfortunately, we didn't hit any more Vengevines here, but we did hit a Grave Crawler. Hey, from the crypt. Thanks for the shark bites. Almost missed that. You know what we do with those. Nom 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 nom. um, I guess I'll go ahead and play a Gravecrawler here. There's almost no reason not to. Attack with everything but the Hedron Crab, I think. Okay, they have collected company. Maybe just playing Merfolk's Secret Keeper was better than playing Gravecrawler there. Alright, so they can make a ton of mana. So it's turning out to be one of those good games. I told you, Elves is a tough matchup. So here we have the option of just going for Vengevine. Let's go ahead and play land first. See what this does for us. We have one prized amalgam in the graveyard. I think we want a basic land. Okay, Narcomoeba comes back, triggering all the prized amalgams here. +3/+3 and trample is what I'm concerned about here. So I think we do want to play Vengevine here. Yep. And do I want to attack with the Narcomoebas here? They can actually do this on their turn. That might make it not worth it. Hmm. Let's see. So the opponent can make their team 6, 12, 17 points of damage coming in. I don't think we attack. Looks like we might be facing an Ormondal here. Okay. So the opponent can tap Elvish Archdruid and make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana that they can sink into Azuri. Um, I'm assuming they have an Ormondal as soon as next turn. That's a flying lifelink indestructible haste. This has to tap. I think I'm just gonna play Merfolk Secret Keeper as an 0-4. Play Stitcher Supplier here. Maybe we'll get lucky with that. We did hit Creeping Chill. Certainly don't mind that card. Go ahead and replay these grave crawlers here because we can. And I think I'll just attack with one grave crawler. Not that that really accomplishes much, but I think we need at least one card in the graveyard to return prized amalgams if we end up blocking with them next turn. So that's kind of my logic behind sending in the one grave crawler. Opponent fires off Veil of Summer and Coco. Four cards in hand. There's another land. War Master. I way lost track of their damage output here. Okay, they just kill us with Shaman. That kind of makes sense. Hmm. So they really didn't put that many cards into their graveyard. Still don't know if Drown in the Loch is where we want to be for this matchup. Probably not. Wonder if Pithing Needle is worth it in this matchup. I guess it doesn't stop mana abilities. It's gonna run it back the same way. Abrupt Decay stock goes down if they have Veil of Summer, so maybe we could have sided out that card. I think this hand is good enough. 3 enablers. Seems like kind of a good spot to be in. Our opponent mulliganed to 6. They might be looking for something specific. Let's lead off here with a Watery Grave. Play our crab and pass the turn. Alright, I guess it's probably Glimpse here. We'll do that off of a fetch. Alright, 1 Vengevine in the graveyard. That's step 1. Go ahead and grab Overgrown Tomb. Unfortunately, there goes Golgari Charm. That would have come in handy. Mill ourselves with Glimpse the Unthinkable, and we get 1 Creeping Chill for our efforts. Another Vengevine, not terrible. So given the way our graveyard looks right now, our best draw would be another Gravecrawler or another Stitcher Supplier. Either of those two cards we could cast alongside Merfolk Secret Keeper, get back both Vengevines, triggering prized amalgams. Elvish Archdruid. Okay, Narcomoeba, unfortunately, not a zombie, so we have to do this the hard way. Gonna go ahead and keep fetching while we have the crab to do so. Sweet. That was a really good mill. Got a third Vengevine here. So we want to cast Merfolk Secret Keeper and a Narcomoeba this turn, so we need Watery Grave to do that. Nice, another Creeping Chill. That was lucky. So we're getting back 3 Vengevines this turn. Okay, and they scoop. On the play, hooray for that. This hand is actually good despite having Creeping Chill in it. So I think we're gonna keep this. And we'll lead off with a Hedron Crab. I think we might want to lead off with a Gravecrawler here. Yeah, let's lead off with Gravecrawler here. Just feels like it's more damage if we do it this way. Utopia Sprawl. So with white mana, this is going to be Heliod. Almost certainly. Heliod combo. Oh, I did mess up. I needed to get a Watery Grave. So now we miss out on a crab trigger. Got the wrong land last turn. We hit 1 Creeping Chill and a couple Vengevines. We can also replace our draw step with Life from the Loam. We have Bloodstained Mire, Verdant, and Polluted Delta. What's going on? JP, welcome. Glad you're able to make it. And we do have a Silver Smoke Ghoul in the yard. I glossed right over that. So I think I want to skip my next draw and Life from the Loam. I don't know how well positioned the deck is. I play it because it's something I know, and it is, the potential is always there for it to do busted things, but I wouldn't say it's quote unquote good. Let's actually take a dredge here. Ooh, Narcomoeba. Don't mind if I do. And I think we have to take this turn to Life from the Loam. Is that because of the power of Blood Moon or other reasons? The non-con version? What to do, what to do. We can somehow force a block here on the Gravecrawler. That actually works out well for us because we get back Vengevines. Hmm. I think I'll go ahead and loam here. Clothis and Spyro are the All-Stars. There was a time when that deck was better than Jund at doing its own game, and I think Spyro and of course Blood Moon were the reasons for that. Blood Moon was just really powerful in that meta with all the 4-color piles and stuff. There's a lot of people trying out like Bring to Light right now, so what do you think is the reason why the deck is doing pretty good? Just curious. I don't know if it really matters if we play the Hedron Crab here. It might. If they just combo off next turn, I mean, we're pretty much dead to that anyways. I think I'm gonna go ahead and venture deeper here. Okay, we get paid off with a Creeping Chill. And if we don't get comboed off, which is fairly likely, all things considered, um, this sets us up for... Okay, don't they have to sink mana into this for it to work, or is this just infinite? To infinity and beyond. The opponent has gone. Okay, so it's good versus big mana. I can definitely see that. I feel like Amulet is on an upswing and has been. I will scoop to that. Okay, so Mystic Repeal is kind of our answer. Stain the Mind can also do a pretty good thing here for us. Pithing Needle, we can name Heliod with that. And I think we might want the removal spells of Fatal Push. Let's cut the Merfolk Seeker Keepers here. Let's cut the Life from the Loam. I think we can probably skate by with 2 Silver Smoke Ghouls. Aggro matchups make Ponza good with Skoos and Clothis. I can see that for sure. The one argument against Clothis is that it can be a little slow, but once it gets started, it does take over the game. All right. Unfortunately, this hand just doesn't do anything, and it loses to a well-timed Skyclave Apparition. But it has the needle. I think I have to ship it. Alright, this I will keep. And I think we bottom... the swamp here. Go ahead and play Verdant. Oh wow, that's a lot of life gain then. How do you lose the burn with all that life gain in the sideboard? Obstinate Baloth is also pretty good against the Grixis and Jund Shadows, I would imagine. You can punish them for running discard spells. Okay, we bottom the swamp. It appears again. Let's try and get lucky with Glimpse here. That actually is pretty fortunate. Quite gassy. All the value. They lead off with an elf. Okay, so the opponent needs Veil here. Let's see if they have it. They did not. Swing, and let's see if they have the path. They did not. Okay, Utopia Sprawl. And there's Skyclave Apparition. They go after Prized Amalgam. So I think I'll save the Mystic Repeal for a potential Heliod turn. I don't think I'll waste it on a Utopia Sprawl. But this could mean the difference between whether or not they Coco. I knew this situation was going to come up. I think it's better to be patient. The problem being, a lot of times, if the opponent gets lucky, they can Coco into the combo. So I do wonder if we're supposed to go after the Utopia Sprawl here. Let's play Gravecrawler. Play a land. Just looking at your sideboard, that looks pretty sweet. You have the Collector Oofs for Hammer Time too. Cindervine's always a doozy. They could still play a land and just Coco anyways. So I think I'm gonna save Mystic Repeal. Okay. So I made a choice. Ah. Thanks, JP. Cheers. Okay, what do they get? They got an Arbor Elf. So, given that they got Arbor Elf, I think I do want to go ahead and hit the Utopia Sprawl here. And it's kind of unfortunate. We should have hit that last turn. I'll fetch here in the hope that it improves our draw step. Grab a second green source for a maybe Vengevine. Another land. Don't see any reason not to attack with the Gravecrawler. I mean, yeah, I guess that's a reason enough. I think we'll save these lands. Ranger Captain into Walking Ballista. Okay, so our draw was an Archamoeba, and that's obviously a pretty poor draw. We don't have any Vengevines in the graveyard to think about returning, nor can we. I think we just attack here. That does gain them a life. I guess we'll play Polluted Delta here to have up blue mana for Drown in the Lock. Okay, this is the other way that Heliod can beat you. They have a pretty decent fair game as well as combo game. I think I'm fine taking 6 here. I'll fetch, try and improve my draw step. Grab a Watery Grave. And my opponent makes it so I can't play non-creature spells this turn. Land, that's not a good draw. Attack for 2. So kind of feels like we're giving them too much time. Our deck is losing to itself, while the opponent gets pretty much what they need to close out the game. And there's infinite life. I will scoop. Quick little shout out to YouTube as well. If you happen to be catching this when the stream is not live, head on over to twitch.tv/Basiclandshark. That's where I'm at. Drop me a follow there, and Twitch will notify you when I go live. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I'll try and be making sure there's more to follow. And if there's other decks that you want to see, drop a comment, and I'll try my best to accommodate. What can we do with this hand? This looks pretty weak, honestly. I think I'll mull this. This is way better. Keep bottom the Narcomoeba. Aether Vial and a basic island. So this is gonna be probably Luris Fish, I guess. Luris Merfolk. We want to lead off here with a Gravecrawler or a Stitcher Supplier. That was a mistake. I probably should have played Overgrown Tomb first, in case they have a Lord. Guess I'll play Gravecrawler here since it can't block anyways. Vial goes up to 1. Ooh, Wanderwine Hub. Now that can be actually for white cards like Luris, or sometimes just used as a blue source that doesn't get that gets around Choke or Boil. Let's not get blown out by Spell Pierce here. Go ahead and shock in the Overgrown Tomb and Glimpse. They're still running Curse Catcher. We're about to find out. But our Glimpse turns are among the most busted things that we can do. We gotta do it while we can. I think Merfolk runs Force and Negation, but I'm not sure if it's a main deck card anymore. Okay, Narcomoeba. We can use that to get back Vengevine here. Seems like it might be the right play. We could also double Supplier. Or we could go to the casino and just Windmill Slam and Glimpse the Unthinkable. I want to be sure to trigger a Prized Amalgam. Vengevine will do that the best. Let's go ahead and play a land here. And then I think we'll play 2 Suppliers. That alone is good enough to trigger the Vengevine. We might hit more. Okay, there's Gravecrawler. That does it too. So if we cast Gravecrawler here, we don't get any more cards into the graveyard. I think it's probably Supplier here. There's Vengevine. Always yes. Always yield. Always yield. Ooh, don't mind if I do. I'll take a Narcomoeba here. We can still get the Gravecrawler back. I think there might be enough incentive to go for it. And let's attack with everybody that we can. They violence something. Oh, Harbinger of Tides. So that'll bounce the Vengevine back to hand. Haven't seen this one in a while. And a block. Prize Amalgam comes back from the graveyard to the battlefield. Got to mention that one. A good thing we're playing on Magic Online, where the triggers are happening automatically. Prize Amalgam has something called a delayed trigger. Paper Magic, it's easy to miss said trigger. So we can't block because we control an island. Again, we can go for the explosiveness of Glimpse, or we can take the safe route and just try and get back a Vengevine. I think it's take the safe route, just get back the Vengevine this turn. There's a few cards in the opponent's deck that would be troublesome here. Obviously, another Harbinger, Dismember. We'll see what this is. Merfolk Trickster. So their hand was pretty good versus our board. Can't block anyways, so we're just gonna swing out. Okay, trigger on Trigger on Stitcher Supplier. We hit Narcomoeba and Prized Amalgam. Don't think we did enough damage to the opponent's board. They can fire up Mutavault and win that way. So as soon as they fire up Mutavault, I think we'll go ahead and concede. Maybe they won't see it for some reason, but I'm doubtful. Actually, we're not dead. They do have to consider the crackback. Opponent is carefully considering their options here. Okay, so only swinging with Harbinger and Merfolk Trickster. What does that mean? They might have a Marrow Regery in hand. If that card still sees play, that could mean another 2 damage here. This is 6 already. And I can't block, so I guess I'm just taking the 6. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, so go ahead and let that happen. Start my turn. There's a Creeping Chill that I can't cast. I guess we go for Glimpse here and hope for the best. Say that a lot because that's kind of how this deck works. It has a random element to it. They have Force and Negation main deck. So we kind of get blown out by that. Our opponent is capable of gaining life here. Go ahead and play Gravecrawler. Attack with everyone, but I don't know if this is going to be good enough because they can gain 3 life. I'm assuming Mutavault blocks the Vengevine here. This is kind of a Hail Mary. Sure, they'll figure it out. Yep, that Force and Negation, we could have potentially killed them with 2 more Creeping Chills. Actually, no, I have 1 in hand, so we could only hit 1. And that's certainly enough damage. Game 2. Let's bring in some Fatal Pushes. Some abrupt decays. Hmm. I wonder if this is even worth it. Just giving everything -1/-1 might be worth it. The regeneration effect might be nice. I'll cut the Secret Keepers again and the Life from the Loam. Pithing Needle might be a good answer to Aether Vial. It's not necessarily a mana ability. Yeah, I mean, some good old Aether Vial Merfolk. That's a deck that has kind of not been seeing too much play outside of Nikachu streaming and playing with the deck constantly. I know Matt Maddock, who we're playing against, is dedicated to the deck as well. I'm familiar with their name from Twitch, seeing them in Nikachu's channel as well. By the way, shout out to Nikachu. He rated this channel the last time that we streamed. We got quite a few follows off that. I think this is how I want to board. Okay, I have to mull this hand. I don't think it's got enough tools. This one is borderline. Maybe keeping Hedron Crab and 4 lands is good enough. And what do we want to bottom here? Narcomoeba. Narcomoeba is better out of our graveyard, but I expect to face Relica Progenitus. I think they play up to 4 of those. So I think I'm actually going to bottom a land. We'll bottom the Bloodstained Mire. We just really don't have much of a choice but to play islands, so Island Walk might get me here. There's another opponent with a turn 1 relic. That's happened 3 times this league so far. Probably the most played graveyard hate spell. But that was kind of to be expected. We were going to have to face some grave hate. No, I had no clue about that. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know that was going on. News to me. Okay, we milled over 3 more lands. Inzvola, what's going on? Thank you for joining. It has been a while. Happy Sunday to you. Shout out. Almost don't want to mill myself here. We could mill them. It just might be better while Relic is on the battlefield. I mean, okay, we got Spreading Seas, Mutavault, Merfolk, Trickster. See no reason to fetch right off the bat. We could attack. Could certainly attack with the 0-2 there. I believe they call it sending a message. There is Harbinger of Tides. So I'll go ahead and fetch. Let's grab Overgrown Tomb here. We'll mill the opponent some more. And I don't know about my strategy of milling them, but with Relic on the battlefield, I think it might be the best we can do. Maybe we're supposed to put enough cards in our graveyard where they just have to pop the Relic. Alright, these Narcomoeba draws are very poor. We at least get to see what graveyard hate the opponent's running, so if we did happen to win this game, that's a thing. They could be running something like Echoing Truth to bounce the Hedron Crab. So I guess I'll go ahead and fetch here. It might be better to wait. Grab Overgrown Tomb. Oh, you know what? The disadvantage of milling them is I just gave them all kind of gas for Luris. So perhaps I should have thought about that strategy a bit more. Right. Vengevine. Sign me up for that. Try and get some damage in. I don't think we're winning this race though. If they play another Lord, we're in trouble. So they popped the relic there. We've already used a lot of our resources on their graveyard. Oh, wait a minute. So we do want to block the Master of the Pearl Trident. And we have Prized Amalgam in the graveyard. Guess we just attack with everything here. What is this? Cryptic command. Okay. Interesting. I haven't seen Cryptic Command out of a Merfolk deck, I don't think ever. I've often wanted to try it, but that is a first. Typically when you think Merfolk, you think like cheap interaction, like 1 mana Dismember, 1 mana Spell Pierce, free cards like Force Negation. But yeah, I guess that's a thing. Okay. And we just got lorded on. So we have to Golgari Charm just to get another turn here. And that kills our Narcomoeba. We're at 1. Okay, Glimpse, that's actually our best draw. We need everything in the deck to go right here. I don't know if there's anything this could hit that wins us the game with the opponent at 15, probably not. Who knows, maybe they have the Force of Negation too. Jeez. We were just never winning. All they have to do is attack. Good game. Wow, they that was an assault. That was a beating. All right, so half a league worth of entry back for our efforts. Not the worst.